and gentlemen, when people get into the industry of news or journalism, they are usually go in with the understanding that I'm probably going to see some crappy things. I'm probably going to be there on people's bad day, or I'm just going to be out early in the morning, shivering, freezing cold, or late at night, shivering, freezing cold. But Sam Read of NBC 10 has gotten the greatest assignment from the start of this pandemic. She is covering the stories of good stories. She joins me now from her executive office suite in the NBC 10 World Headquarters, her vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. Sam, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ben. How are you?
You know, it is it's the most wonderful time of the year, so we're just going with that. Now, the last time I saw you in person, it was a Friday. It was March 13th. I had just gotten done hosting Studio 10. I came over to you and I said, my goodness, what a lovely ring. Congratulations, because you just got engaged in February. We were discussing plans, how I'm going to be the officiant and everything. It was wonderful. And then the next day, the world shut down. So how you been?
Oh, trying to plan a wedding during the pandemic, as like thousands of other people, has been fun. But every day it's just like cross your fingers, like pray for the best, keep it pushing. So other than that, it's been good. Work's been awesome because like you said, I have a dream job right now. So
right.
It's been fun. Other than that, everything's okay. Family's healthy. I've been healthy. So it's been good. How about you?
Hey, we're doing fine. We're doing great. We're keeping busy and just, plug it along. But the assignments, I mean, obviously as stuff started to really take a turn back in March, and if you could think back to that for a second, as the assignments started getting handed out and, the stories kept on growing, more and more dim, what was it like for you when they said, hey, listen, we want you to take this different approach? I mean, how did you process that? How did you take that? And I mean, obviously, 8 months later, you're doing an excellent job, by the way, folks. Go follow her stories, go watch them all because they are inspiring and excellent. But how was that for you?
So Artie, our assignment desk, I'll never forget it. He reached out to me on a Sunday night. This is right after like the announcements were on a Tuesday, Wednesday, like, hey, schools are going to close. So Sunday night, I got an email from the assignment desk and my managers that said, hey, we're going to have you do good news this week. Because I'm always pitching good news. Obviously, the news is about, getting information out and stuff like that. But I would always send in like stories that would make me smile on social media and things like that. We would cover some. We try our best to cover it, but obviously information is key. So when he said that to me, I remember saying to my mom, oh my God, I get to do good news this week. Like, how awesome is that? So immediately I started, going on social media, trying to find things that were nice. And that first week, I remember people just went nuts for him because it was so sad and the unknown was kind of freaking everyone out. So like the stories kind of gave people a sense of normalcy, like, hey, there's still good things happening like this week, despite the fact that everybody is panicking. So after the first week, I think they did really well on social media. And so then the next week they were like, hey, we're going to have you do good news again. And I was like, okay, sweet. Like, this is awesome.
Right.
So continued to do them the second week, and then it was, okay, Sam, we're going to have you do 2 good news stories a day, one for the 5 o'clock, one for the 6 o'clock. So like both shows get a dose of what's happening locally. That's nice. And then from there, they just completely took off all summer long. We did 2 different good news stories. And I've been so blessed to be the one to be able to do that. Like, my coworkers are working their tails off, dealing with the coronavirus. Obviously, I get the ideal dream job. It's like my favorite thing. I've always been like a feature writer. So to have this opportunity to be able to do that for months, we're going on month 9 now, is awesome. And we have seen some wicked cool stuff.
No, like I said, folks, again, go find her links to her stories. Go follow her on the social media because they really are. They do bring out the best in people. They do highlight those positive attributes that have come to light. Maybe they were always there and we're just now having a chance to discover it, or it's something that's come kind of as a silver lining to what we've all been going through. So let's go back to your history here. How did you get into this career? Where'd you, because you're a local
Yep.
yokel. So how did you get into that? Where'd you go to school and what markets were you in prior to this?
So I graduated from Westerly High School. That's where I grew up. I was born in Hartford. I moved to Rhode Island when I was 6 and a half.
All sins can be forgiven. All sins can be forgiven.
So, Graduated from Westerly. I went to Springfield College in Massachusetts, a small school, and I studied communication sports journalism. Originally, I wanted to be a sports reporter. I wrote for our paper. I was involved in like the TV club, all that good stuff. Did ESPN radio broadcasting for like Division 2 and 3. And then in college, I did like 5 internships. Looking back, I was out of my mind, but I just wanted to like dip my toe in everything because I know like the field is so competitive. So I did that. Graduated, took a job at Sportsnet New York in Rockefeller. I think I was getting paid $8 an hour to log highlights.
Big time.
Yes, to log highlights. And I did that for about 7 months, and then said, "Hey, I gotta build a new reel." Like, which people who don't know, it's like a highlight reel for news reporters. Like for sports, it's kind of like the same thing. So I took a job behind the scene at Channel 7 in Boston. I was a media coordinator. I was basically like the middleman between editors and producers, making sure everything was online. I made a demo reel, sent it out to basically every market you could possibly think of. And I got some offers out of like Idaho, South Dakota, Alabama, and Panama City Beach, Florida, which seemed appetizing to me at the time because I had been there for spring break. So I decided to take the job down there, moved down there for 2 years, finished my 2-year contract, wanted to come obviously back to New England or as close to New England as possible. So from there, I took a job at WGME in Portland, Maine. Backtrack. Market that I was originally in, I think, was market 140. Okay. For people that don't know, news markets are ranked 1 through, I think, 220, 1 being the best, 220 being the worst. So I started out
not best and worst, largest and smallest.
Like viewership or area.
To those folks out there in Podunk, South Dakota, we love you. We do.
Yeah, we love you. But
all 3 of you.
Yeah. Exactly. Then Portland was a good jump for me. I think it was market 78. So that was awesome. I signed a 2-year deal there. And about a year and a half or a year and 3 months in, we were owned by Sinclair, which is the parent company of Channel 10. And an opportunity came up here where they had a news reporter, multimedia journalist job open. So I applied. I came down for an interview, and I got the job. And now I'm going on year 3 here.
No, so, it's quite the journey, and that's always the case. It's interesting. Anytime I meet reporters, especially who are in our market, I'll always say, "Okay, where did you come to?" Because our Providence, the Providence New Bedford market's not usually the first right out the gate because it's in that top 50 designation. So it's always interesting to hear that journey and hear just where it went to. But that is really that's such a fun thing. And now you're back home. You're close by to family and friends perhaps you grew up to. What was it like for your family when you told them, "Hey, that legacy station in Rhode Island, NBC, Channel 10?
Yeah,
I'm on it." So
yeah.
How did your family react?
Well, first I remember when I got the call from my news director, Scott Isaacs, that I was offered the job. I started crying. I was like, "No way. I can't believe I'm going home. Like, this has been my dream forever." And so I called my mom and my dad, and I told them I didn't get the job. Like, I just wanted to mess with them a little. And I could hear like the disappointment because they obviously wanted me to be home. But then when I told them, they were so happy. Like they are my number 1 fans. They don't miss a show. They're like so supportive. My Nana lives in Wakefield. She watches every single night and then texts me about my story, like something like really cute.
Isn't that what all Nanas have done for generations? Yeah, texting and is Nana on Facebook?
Yeah, she is.
Hi, Nana. Hello, Nana. I'm sure you're watching this. Obviously, you want to see much more of your granddaughter than you want to see of me. So continue.
Yeah. So my family was like super pumped. All my friends' parents, some of my friends have moved away, but all their parents are still in Rhode Island and they just love it. They send me messages and they think it's so cool. And it is really cool. But when you've been doing it for a while, you kind of overlook the fact that you're on TV. It's like your job kind of. So it's super exciting. I'm so grateful to be back. But for other people, it's like, it's a really, really big deal, which is super special.
No, it really is, and you've worked hard for it. Obviously, your reputation, as short as your career has been to this point, really, obviously, there's many more years to go. Your reputation right now is stellar, and your reporting is excellent, and that's
Yeah.
that's why people love tuning in and catching up with you. That and the threat of unspeakable things happening as your Nana orders,
Yeah.
because Nana knows people, doesn't she?
Yeah. She
So
knows everyone. She knows everyone in South
that's
County.
that's Nana texting us right now saying, "You tell it DeCastro to watch his step."
Yeah.
I get the wooden spoon out. So
Yeah.
you are engaged now. We're getting ready. When is what year? I don't want to like create all the paparazzi craze, TMZ being outside there.
Yeah.
What is the year we're targeting right now for the nuptials?
So we're hoping 6 months.
Okay.
Well, when I saw you, we had gotten engaged February 1st. He surprised me with like 60 pre-COVID of our closest friends and family at the place we first met.
Don't you hate having to put that disclaimer in? Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. And so we got really lucky. My mom's like, let's get the ball rolling. Like, let's go look at venues, blah, blah, blah. So I think we looked at literally 13 venues. Every Sunday after we got engaged, we went and looked at venues, and we signed with our venue in Connecticut. We're getting married at this place called Aria 1 week before COVID happened. Literally, I think it was like March 10th or something. Yeah. And so we got our date. And even then, pre-COVID, we're getting married on a Sunday. The entire summer before COVID was already booked. There was no Fridays and Saturdays.
Sure.
So we were like, okay, we'll settle for a Sunday because we really love this place and we don't want to wait another year. So now I can only imagine, and I know that people are getting married on Wednesdays and Thursdays who had to push their date. So we're just praying that that doesn't happen for us. And I feel for everyone it has, but... So 6 months, we have a lot to do.
Well, recent news indicates that, the vaccines are going out there. So hopefully that as time goes on, the restrictions and everything can be loosened and lessened. And I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful event and star-studded nonetheless. Perhaps an appearance from Scott Isaacs, maybe, if he can break his reservation up there at the Kowloon on the North Shore where he loves to spend time. Shout out to Andy Wog. Look, I mean, once this whole pandemic thing ends and the day can't come soon enough, I mean, how do you think you're going to look back at your reporting during this period, and as you may transition back into general assignment or covering those other things? I mean, is it something you kind of hope to keep going, which is, even if it's not as frequent as daily, but every other so often?
Yeah, that's something, we've talked about a lot of things. At the end of the summer, we thought it was going to completely slow down and maybe it'd be a once a week kind of thing. But that didn't really happen because lucky for me, it's been so overwhelming, the amount of emails and Facebook messages and things of people being like, I mean, we've built this brand in 9 months. People saying Sam Reed's a good news reporter. Here you go. And especially with the holidays, it's almost overwhelming, but a good overwhelming, where people are just saying, hey, this happened, this is happening. And I try to get to everything as possible. And I genuinely feel bad for the things that I can't cover because so much good is happening. And unfortunately, I'm only one person. We could fill a whole show with every reporter doing something good,
sure,
but other information, has to be put forth. But when the pandemic slows down, I wouldn't be surprised if the stories slow down, but I definitely think my company wants to keep this, even if it's as a weekly thing. I think it's something people need. People, even after COVID, when it's all said and done, like, this is something which has been awesome to watch, is that people have looked forward to. Everything has been so different. We try not to tell stories that are very similar. We try to go to as many places as possible. So I feel like, to attest to a point that you made in the beginning, like, did this just happen because of COVID, or was all this nice stuff happening? I honestly think this was all happening even before this, but people didn't reach out to the news because the news is always deemed as bad or, whatever. Sure. But now that we're interested, I think it's something, that does happen on a daily basis. Can I cover it on a daily basis forever? I hope so, but I will completely understand if it has to be scaled back compared to one a day. So,
well, they say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Obviously, John Krasinski tried with his WGN network, obviously after seeing your reports, saying, oh, if Sam Reed can do it, I can do it. And they stared into the camera some Jim Halpert way. Lindsay DeLucia won't have you think that because she hates The Office, and but nonetheless, so we'll leave that as it is. But Sam, I know it's probably going to be a hard question for you to answer. It's probably like asking a mother which child is your favorite.
Oh God!
What story is the one that sticks out to you that had the greatest impact on you, whether it be just not necessarily in a big life-changing way, but just personally or just deep down inside, something that really that just did something to you?
We shot it last week. Basically, I mean, I've seen every story is awesome and so different. And, tree trimmer surprising a 5-year-old boy, literally making his day to the point where his grandfather was in tears, or a guy who built a roller coaster for his grandfather, and a community that decorated a dying woman's house for Christmas. They're all so, so special. But we were lucky, Paul, my photographer, and I, if I'm not MMJing by myself, I get partnered up with Paul. He's my good news buddy. We have been doing everything together. He does a phenomenal job. On Wednesday, we were able to tag along. There's a family out of Smithfield, Rhode Island. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but I did a story about letters to Santa last week, a preschool that was going to respond for the letters to Santa. And the next day, I was informed by one of Santa's helpers about a letter that was written by a 9-year-old from Smithfield, who said he had already sent a letter to Santa, but he wanted to erase his Christmas list to make his mom better because she has stage 4 cancer. Wow. So he decided to take back his Christmas wish list. And a stranger, one of Santa's friends, because he has an in with the big guy, heard about this letter and decided to completely surprise this family and bring all of them Christmas. Wow. And we were able to be there for that. So that was really special.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if this hasn't been sold already, all of Sam's stories is brought to you by Puffs. Because you're going to need these when you watch. No, they are really inspiring, Sam, and I'm just so glad that you've been able to do these, and you really have brought a lot of positivity. And really, I think you've changed the outlook of so many people just with these stories. And these are people that you'll never meet. These are people that you've touched, through your storytelling, which has just been incredible. But you're certainly one of the unsung heroes throughout this whole pandemic, and a great friend. And so it's an honor to know you. And again, the offer stands. If you need an officiant, I'll do what I can.
We might. It's supposed to be my grandma, but my other grandma in Vermont. So we'll see.
All right.
She goes to church every day.
You want me to go up against grandma? Grandma, get out of the way. I'll take it over here. I ain't having that. Oh, wait, they pack a punch. I'm not dealing with that nonetheless. Folks, go online, follow Sam. She's awesome. And don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. Just be nice, right? Just be nice. Yeah. So, Sam, thank you so much for taking the time out, and happy holidays to you, and can't wait to see more great stuff from you in 2021.
Thank you for choosing me to be on. I love this. And yeah, everyone just keep spreading kindness, and happy holidays to you and your family, Ben. I appreciate it.